Stand by the statement.
Question number 2, the Honourable Henare.
Speaker, my question is to the Minister of Finance and asks what reports has he received on the cost of living?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, inflation for the year to June came in at 1%, the lowest rate since 1999. Food prices fell 1.8% in the year to the end of July. Fruit and vegetable prices fell 6.6%. In that year, grocery food was down 1.7% and meat and poultry were down 1.6%. Mr Speaker, it is good to see that inflation is relatively not low. However, many families still have difficulty meeting their weekly obligations. That is why we are focused on building a faster growing economy that supports more jobs and higher incomes.
The Honourable Henare.
How do the latest consumer price figures compare with wage movements in the past year?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, while inflation has been falling, the economy has been growing moderately, and this has been reflected in moderate average wage increases. So annual inflation is running at about 1%. The average wage increased by 3% in the past year, or 2% higher than inflation. In addition, floating mortgage rates at around 5.75% are at their lowest level in almost 50 years. This is giving New Zealand households a small amount of freeboard which they appear to be using to reduce their debts and increase their savings.
The Honourable Henare.
Mr Speaker, how does the current level of inflation compare to 2008?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, inflation is considerably lower now, probably because of the after effects of the global financial crisis and a generally more competitive economy. Annual inflation in November 2008 was running at 5.1%. That was made up of 9 years of price increases of electricity of 72%, adding up to 72%. Floating home mortgage rates were almost 11%. And of course the economy had been in recession for almost a year. By contrast, the lower inflation we're now experiencing, combined with steady increases in average after-tax wages, means that the real spending power of the average wage earner is increasing slightly.
The Honourable David Parker.
Over the past 2 years, have ordinary time wages, as measured by the Labour Cost Index, grown by 4.24%, while prices, as measured by the Consumers Price Index, have grown by 6.28%.
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, I can't vouch for exactly those figures. What I can tell the member is that the average ordinary time wage, the relationship between average ordinary time wage and inflation has meant that national super annuitants have had national super increased each of the last 2 years in order to maintain the value of national superannuation.
Question number 3, Dr. Russell Norman.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Tertiary Education.